That buzz on your phone wasn't just another useless notification, it was a winter storm warning. You've got 24 hours before it slams into your area. Sounds like plenty of time. Right. That's exactly what everyone thinks. They'll tell themselves they'll hit the grocery store in the morning, top off the gas tank after work, maybe grab some extra supplies if they remember. Here's the harsh truth. By morning, the shelves are empty. Bread, milk, batteries, gone. The gas stations, packed like a refugee line or bone dry with no fuel signs taped to the pumps. Hardware stores, forget it. Every generator, heater, flashlight and snow shovel is already gone. And that's when reality hits. You waited too long. When the snow's coming down sideways and the power goes out, no one's coming to save you. That tomorrow plan everyone loves turns into cold, dark regret. So this video isn't about maybe prepping or thinking about it later. I'm giving you 9 hard, specific things you must do in the next 24 hours before it's too late. No fluff, no theory, just real steps that will decide whether you're calm, warm, and ready, or freezing in the dark wishing you started sooner. If that storm alert just hit your phone, stop scrolling, because the next few minutes might literally save you. Turn your home into a water reserve. Do this immediately. The first move when that winter storm warning hits, forget food, forget gear, fill every single thing in your house that can hold water. Don't overthink it. Do it right now while you're watching this. Every minute counts. When the power goes out, and it will, your taps might stop running completely. People don't realize how fast no water becomes a crisis. The pumps that keep your city's water moving rely on electricity. Once that goes down, the flow stops. And if the temperature drops far enough, pipes freeze, crack, and suddenly even the most modern neighborhood turns into a third world zone overnight. Look at what happened in Texas during the deep freeze. Millions without running water in less than 2 days. Toilets didn't flush. Faucets ran dry. People were melting snow in pots just to wash their hands. That's not survival mode. That's desperation mode. And it hits fast. So here's what you do. Grab every clean jug, pot, thermos, bucket, pitcher, and bottle you own. If it holds liquid, fill it. Your bathtub alone can hold 40 to 50 gallons. That's your non-drinking water supply for flushing toilets, cleaning dishes, and washing up. For drinking, you need at least 1 gallon per person per day. Minimum 3 days worth, that's 3 gallons per person. Got a family of 4, you're looking at 12 gallons, and that's the bare minimum. The smart move, double it, because you never know how long the system will stay down or when the roads will be safe again. Don't make the mistake of thinking bottled water from the store will save you. By tomorrow morning, those shelves will look like they were hit by a plague of locusts. Use clean containers first, rinse them out, and fill them from your tap now while it's still running. Cover them, store them away from sunlight, and don't wait until the storm actually starts. Once the first ice starts forming on the power lines, your time's up. Having water means control. It's the difference between being calm and being panicked. When everyone else is melting snow in their bathtub, you'll be sitting warm, hydrated, and prepared. 2. Power everything up, because darkness comes fast. While you're filling containers, the next move happens in parallel. Charge every electronic device you own. Phones, laptops, tablets, rechargeable flashlights, Bluetooth speakers, even old power banks you haven't used in months. Everything gets plugged in. People underestimate how fast things go dark when the grid dies. Your phone battery that lasts all day in normal life suddenly drains twice as fast when you're constantly checking weather alerts, texting loved ones, or using it as a flashlight. When the lights go out, your phone becomes your lifeline, not just to people but to information. It's how you'll know what's happening outside, if rescue centers are open, or if the storm is shifting. But that lifeline only lasts as long as your battery does. Once it's dead, you're cut off. And if you think I'll just charge it later, remember, later might mean no power for 3, 4, even 5 days. That's exactly what happened during major freezes across the US. Whole neighborhoods left in the dark with dead phones, no updates, no communication. So right now, while you still have electricity, max out every battery in your home. I keep multiple 20,000 milliamp hour power banks charged at all times. Each one can charge a phone 4 or 5 times. That's about 2 weeks of emergency phone use, if you're smart with it. But here's the catch. They're only useful if you charge them before the outage. Don't wait until the lights flicker. Plug them in now, even if your devices are 80% charged. Get them to 100%. Every percent counts when the world goes dark. Charge your laptops too, even if you don't think you'll need them. With the right cable, you can siphon power from a laptop to recharge a phone multiple times. That's a power bank most people don't realize they already have. Rechargeable flashlights, lanterns, radios, get them topped off. And one more blunt truth. Don't rely solely on your car to charge devices. If the road's ice over and you can't drive, running your car for power wastes fuel fast, and fuel becomes gold in a blackout. Charge inside while you still can. Every cable you own should be working overtime right now. When that storm cuts the power, you'll be glad you did. Because once it's dark, it's too late. 3. Cash is king. When the power dies, the third thing you do, and do it before the lines form, is hit the ATM and pull cash. Not when you're out later. Not tomorrow morning. Right now, because once the grid stumbles, everything digital stops working. No power means no card readers, no online payments, no tap to pay. When the systems go down, only one currency still works: cold, hard cash. During blackouts, stores that can stay open will start running cash only. Gas stations too. And if you're one of the thousands of people who didn't think ahead, you'll be standing there with a useless debit card while the guy behind you buys the last can of fuel with a $20 bill. It's a simple truth: cash equals options. No cash equals waiting, begging, and freezing. Even if ATMs still have power, they run dry fast during emergencies. The banks limit withdrawals to stop panic runs, and by the second day the machines are empty. During the Texas freeze, people literally drove across town trying to find a working ATM. Most found none. The few who had pulled cash early could still buy supplies, trade, and even pay for help when others couldn't. So how much should you withdraw? As much as you can safely afford. My baseline recommendation, at least $500. Broken into small bills, $20, $10, $5, and $1. You don't want to be handing someone a $100 bill for a $15 item, because nobody will have change. Cash also gives you leverage in emergency. Need to pay someone to plow your driveway, get firewood, or give you a ride to a warming shelter. Cash talks. Digital payments don't. And remember, ATMs need power and network access. If one or both go down, those machines become useless metal boxes. So go now, before everyone else gets spooked by the storm warning. Withdraw what you need, secure it in a waterproof envelope or zip bag, and keep it where you can grab it quickly if you need to evacuate. When the world freezes over, cash buys survival time. It's not paranoia, it's math. The moment the grid hiccups, money in your account means nothing. The only thing that counts is the money in your hand. So go get it now, before everyone else figures that out the hard way. Top off every drop of fuel. Your vehicle is your lifeline. Your next move is simple. Fill up your vehicle's tank to the absolute top, not halfway, not "I'll grab gas in the morning." Full, right now. If you own spare gas cans, fill those too. Once a major winter storm alert hits, gas stations turn into war zones. Everyone suddenly realizes their tank is low, rushes out, and within hours, every station in town is packed. By the time you pull in, you're staring at a 30-car line or worse, an out-of-fuel sign taped to the pump. And even if the station has gas underground, it doesn't matter when the power goes out. No electricity means no pumps. That fuel might as well be on Mars. During the Texas deep freeze, the people who filled up the day before the storm had mobility, heat, and options. Everyone else, they were stranded, cold, and stuck in their driveways. That's what happens when you assume you'll get gas later. But here's what most folks don't think about. Your car isn't just for driving. It's an emergency heater and a power source. If your home loses power and the temperature inside starts dropping below freezing, your car can literally keep you alive. You can sit inside with the heater on for 20-30 minutes every few hours to warm up. As long as you're parked outside in open air, never in a garage, it's perfectly safe. A full tank can give you multiple warm-up sessions over several days. That's survival-level warmth when your home turns into an icebox. And don't forget, your vehicle is a built-in charging station. You can charge your phone, flashlight, or even small electronics through the USB or a power inverter. It becomes your mobile generator, but only if you have the fuel. Once your tank hits empty, all of that capability disappears. Fuel now means flexibility later. If the storm clears faster than expected, you can help others, drive to safer areas, or reach a store that still has supplies. But none of that happens if your tank's on fumes. So before you even think about groceries or supplies, fill your tank to the brim. Gas isn't just convenience during a winter storm, it's power, heat, and movement. Without it, you're frozen in place. 5. Shop like a survivor, not like the herd. The 5th move, hit the grocery store. But do it smart. Everyone else is going to panic shop, and you can spot them instantly. They'll be pushing carts full of bread, milk, and eggs like they're preparing for a French breakfast. Don't be one of them. That's what everyone thinks they're supposed to buy before a storm, and that's why those shelves empty first. But here's the brutal truth. When the power goes out, everything perishable turns into trash. Milk sours, eggs are useless without a working stove, and bread won't do much for you when you're freezing and hungry for real calories. You're not panic shopping, you're problem solving. Winter storms cause 3 main issues: no power, no heat, and no access to stores. So, you buy foods that fight those 3 problems. Start with anything that doesn't need cooking or refrigeration. Peanut butter, crackers, jerky, canned soups, chili, tuna, and stew. Pop-top cans are your best friend. No can opener required. Focus on calories, protein, and fat. The 3 things that keep your body fueled and warm. Forget salads, fresh fruit, or frozen dinners. When the power dies, they're worthless. Next, grab snack fuel. High-energy items like granola bars, nuts, trail mix, and protein bars. These don't spoil, they keep you going, and they require 0 effort. During extreme cold, your body burns extra calories to stay warm. That means you need more food than usual, not less. Don't overlook water either. Even if your tap is still running, you're buying time and insurance. Grab a few gallons of bottled water or a case of bottles. Aim for at least a gallon per person per day for 3 days. It's not overkill, it's smart redundancy. And here's a pro move. Skip the crowd favorites. Avoid aisles. Everyone's swarming. Go for overlooked staples, canned beans, instant oatmeal, dried fruit, powdered milk, or shelf-stable juices. They last forever and are rarely sold out first. Finally, think about morale. When you're stuck inside for 3 days, comfort food matters. Grab coffee, tea, or chocolate. They lift your mood and make the situation more bearable. Don't shop like a sheep following the herd. Shop like someone who's planning to stay alive and comfortable while everyone else panics. Remember, the goal isn't to buy what others buy. The goal is to buy what still works when the lights go out. 6. Lock down emergency heat before you freeze. Point number 6. Prepare your backup heat sources, because once the power's gone, your house isn't going to stay warm for long. People think their gas furnace will keep running. Wrong. Even gas heaters usually rely on electric fans or igniters. When the power dies, your heat dies with it. And when the outside temperature sits below freezing, your indoor temperature can plummet into the 30s within hours. That's cold enough for hypothermia, especially for kids, seniors, or anyone in poor health. You don't have to drop thousands on a generator, though if you have one, good for you. What you need is a non-electric heat source that actually works indoors. The best option for most people, a propane heater. Models like the Mr. Heater Buddy are lifesavers. They're small, safe for indoor use when properly ventilated, and run on those green camping propane canisters. Each one gives you roughly 3 hours of heat on high or up to 6 on low. 6 canisters means a full day of warmth. 12 canisters, nearly 3 days. That's enough to keep a small room livable even when the outside world is a block of ice. If you can't find a heater, improvise. Layer sleeping bags, blankets, and even bubble wrap over windows to trap heat. Close off unused rooms and focus on heating a single core room, usually the smallest room in your home. The less space you try to heat, the more effective your resources become. Now let's talk safety, because this is where people screw up and die. Never run propane heaters while you're sleeping. Never use a grill or oven for heat, and never use any heater in a sealed room. Carbon monoxide doesn't announce itself. It just kills. Crack a window an inch or 2 for ventilation. Yes, it lets in a little cold, but it also lets you wake up alive. If you've got a wood stove or fireplace, stock up on dry firewood now. Not tomorrow, now. Once the storm hits, stores sell out or deliveries stop. If you have an electric blanket, charge it while the power's still on. Even without heat, that residual warmth can last hours if you layer up correctly. The point is simple: you can survive without power, but not without warmth. A reliable backup heat source turns a blackout from a life-threatening situation into an inconvenience. Without it, you're at the mercy of the cold, and the cold doesn't show mercy. 7. Defend your home from frozen pipes, because water damage destroys fast. Number 7. Protect your pipes before they destroy your house. This isn't a minor chore. This is what separates a rough winter week from tens of thousands of dollars in water damage. Frozen pipes don't just stop water flow, they explode, and when they burst, your home floods from the inside. In freezing storms, it's one of the most expensive and preventable disasters homeowners face. When pipes freeze, they expand until metal or PVC gives out. Once they thaw, water gushes through the rupture, flooding walls, ceilings, and floors. If the main supply line bursts, it can dump hundreds of gallons per hour. Imagine dealing with that while it's below zero outside. The power's off, and emergency plumbers are days away. That's not a problem you fix. That's a nightmare you live in for months. So here's what you do right now, before the temperature drops. First, find your main water shutoff valve. Don't assume you know where it is. Go check. It's often in the basement, garage, or near your foundation outside. Make sure it actually works. If it's rusted or stuck, fix that immediately. The moment a pipe bursts, you'll need to shut off the water in seconds, not minutes. Next, focus on prevention. Open the cabinet doors under your sinks, especially those against exterior walls. That simple act lets warm air from your house circulate around the pipes. Then turn on your faucets slightly. Just a slow drip from both hot and cold taps. Moving water doesn't freeze as easily as standing water. It's cheap insurance that can save you thousands. If you have outdoor faucets, disconnect every hose. Even frost-proof ones can trap water that freezes back into the line. Drain them fully and cap them with insulated faucet covers. They cost about $5 at any hardware store and can prevent a major break. For homes in older neighborhoods, wrap exposed pipes with insulation foam or even towels and duct tape if that's all you have. In basements or crawl spaces, aim a small space heater if you still have power or an LED light bulb toward vulnerable pipes to keep the temperature above freezing. Remember this, when your pipes freeze, it's not just an inconvenience, it's the start of a chain reaction. Frozen pipes mean no running water. Then comes the burst. Then comes flooding, ruined walls, mold, and months of insurance calls. Don't wait until you hear the pop. Protect those pipes today while you still can. 8. Lock in a family communications plan, because you can't rely on cell service. Number 8. Get your family's communication plan locked in before the storm hits. When the grid goes down, so does communication. You'd think phones would save you, until the cell towers lose power or overload and stop working altogether. During massive freezes, even major networks collapse. Calls don't connect. Texts lag for hours. Internet-based apps like WhatsApp or Telegram, useless when data lines are jammed. In a winter emergency, you can't afford confusion. You need a plan everyone in your family knows by heart before the power fails. Start with the basics. Texting beats calling. Texts use less signal and often squeeze through even when voice calls can. Establish a clear rule during the storm. Your family communicates by text first. Keep it short, simple, and factual. Safe. At home, power out, that's all it takes. The second part of your plan is an out-of-area contact. When local networks are congested, long-distance calls often work better. Pick a family member or trusted friend who lives far from the storm zone. Everyone in your family should know that person's number. If you can't reach each other directly, you each check in with that person, who relays updates between you. It's old school, but it works when modern systems fail. The third part is scheduled check-ins. During major outages, you don't want to constantly drain your phone battery trying to reach everyone. Instead, set a routine. Say, every day at noon and 6 p.m. Everyone sends a status message. Okay, or even just a thumbs-up emoji. That's enough to confirm everyone's safe without draining power or clogging networks. Also, print out key phone numbers. Don't rely on digital contact lists. If your phone dies or breaks, you'll lose all of them. Write down family contacts, emergency services, your out-of-state contact, and any local shelters. Put that list in your go bag and one on the fridge. If you really want to go next level, get a pair of cheap two-way radios, walkie-talkies with rechargeable batteries. They don't rely on cell towers and can reach a mile or more in most neighborhoods. They're not just for hobbyists, they're for when the modern system fails, which it often does. In short, plan now, talk later, because when everything freezes and the lights go out, you'll want certainty, not chaos. Communication keeps your family together when everything else breaks down. 9. Pack your go bag and know when to get out. Number 9. Prepare your go bag and have your evacuation plan ready. Most people think they'll just ride it out at home, and usually that works. But sometimes it doesn't. When the cold becomes unbearable, pipes burst, or your house loses heat completely, staying becomes dangerous. If that happens, you don't want to start packing while your breath is visible indoors. You want to grab your bag and move. A go bag is not fancy prepper gear. It's basic survival logic. It's a backpack or duffel packed with everything you'd need to live for 72 hours if you had to evacuate. Start with clothing. 3 days worth per person, all practical layers, socks, underwear, thermal base layers, a hoodie or fleece, and a waterproof outer shell. Comfort doesn't matter. Warmth does. Next, add copies of your most important documents in a waterproof folder. ID cards, insurance papers, property documents, medical records, and any prescriptions. If your home floods or burns, these papers become your proof of existence when systems are down. Include cash, at least a few hundred in small bills. When the grid is offline, credit and debit cards are just plastic. Include essential medications, at least a week's supply per person. Rotate them regularly so they stay current. Toss in toiletries, a toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, and hand sanitizer. Small comforts that make a big difference. Add a charged power bank and a phone cable for each family member. If you have kids, add one small comfort item per child. A stuffed toy, a favorite blanket, something that brings calm in chaos. For adults, maybe a small flashlight or multi-tool. These aren't luxuries, they're morale boosters when stress spikes. Lastly, map out where you'd go if you had to leave. Maybe it's a family member's house in a different city. Maybe it's a community shelter. Maybe it's your car if it's warm enough. Know the routes in advance, and fill your gas tank before the storm. See point, print a paper map. GPS might not work if cell towers go down. When the storm turns from bad to dangerous, hesitation kills time. And in a freezing environment, time equals safety. With your go bag ready, and your plan clear, you're not scrambling, you're moving. Preparation is what separates survivors from victims. So don't just hope it won't come to that. Pack your bag, know your exit. Be ready to walk out that door when it's time. Bonus point 10, insulate like your life depends on it. Because it just might. Let's call this what it is. The difference between freezing and surviving. Bonus point number 10, insulate your home like you're sealing a spaceship. Once the power goes out and your heating dies, the only thing between you and the deadly cold is how well your home holds on to the warmth it already has. Most people underestimate how fast a house can lose heat. Within hours of a blackout, indoor temperatures can plummet into the 40s or lower, especially in older homes with poor insulation. You won't even realize how bad it's getting until your breath fogs in the living room and your fingers go numb. But the good news is, with a few smart moves, you can trap heat long enough to ride out even brutal winter nights. Start by targeting windows and doors. The biggest culprits for heat loss. Take plastic sheeting, the kind used for painting or even trash bags in a pinch, and tape it tightly over every window. The goal is to create an air pocket between the glass and the room that slows heat escape. It doesn't have to look pretty. Function over form. Next, grab towels, old blankets, or even clothes and shove them along the bottom of every exterior door. Cold air seeps in fast, especially through gaps. That little draft you ignore on normal days, it'll bleed your warmth out faster than you think. Now focus on your interior space. Pick one room, preferably the smallest one, with the least number of windows, and turn it into your warm zone. Hang thick blankets or tarps over doorways to trap body heat inside. Move everyone into that space, and if possible, set up sleeping bags, mattresses, or blankets directly on the floor. The ground is cold, layering insulation beneath you helps more than an extra blanket above you. If you've still got power, crank the heat before the storm fully hits and trap that warmth by sealing off rooms. If the power's already out, use body heat and candles safely placed inside glass jars to add warmth. Don't use open flames without ventilation. A few people in a sealed room can raise the temperature by several degrees, and in survival situations, a few degrees can mean the difference between comfort and hypothermia. Don't forget your attic and basement. Insulate water pipes and vents there too. Heat rises, and if your attic isn't insulated, you're basically letting all that warmth escape straight into the sky. You don't need fancy materials. Even stuffing old clothes or blankets along cracks makes a huge difference. One more trick. Reflective survival blankets. They're cheap, they're tiny, and they trap body heat like nothing else. Tape them shiny side in on your walls or ceiling inside your warm zone. It'll reflect heat back into the room and create a cocoon of warmth. The truth is, insulation isn't glamorous. It's not as dramatic as generators or emergency gear. But when the temperature drops to single digits and the storm howls outside, you'll thank yourself for every draft you sealed and every blanket you hung. The people who survive comfortably aren't the ones with the most gadgets. They're the ones who built their own microclimate inside their home. Bonus point 11. Stock up on heat, even when the power dies. Bonus point 11 is about one thing. Backup heat. You can have all the food, water, and flashlights in the world, but if you can't stay warm, you're not lasting long. Cold kills faster than hunger, faster than thirst. It creeps into your bones, saps your willpower, and clouds your judgment. So before the storm hits, you need a plan to generate and conserve heat when your main system fails. Start with the basics. Layered clothing. Forget fashion. You want function. Thermal base layer. Long sleeves. A sweater and a windproof outer shell. The secret isn't in wearing one big coat. It's in trapping warm air between multiple thin layers. Cotton kills in cold because it absorbs moisture. Go with wool or synthetics that stay warm even when damp. Next, invest in emergency heating sources. If you've got a wood stove or fireplace, great. Make sure it's cleaned, ventilated, and stocked with plenty of dry firewood. Wet wood smokes more than it burns, and you can't afford to choke out your own air supply. If you don't have a fireplace, look into indoor-safe propane or kerosene heaters, specifically models labeled for emergency indoor use. These heaters can keep a small space warm for hours, but you must crack a window slightly for ventilation to avoid carbon monoxide buildup. Always keep a carbon monoxide detector nearby. People have died from using outdoor heaters inside. Don't become one of them. If you have none of the above, create what's called a body heat system. It's low-tech but powerful. Bring everyone together in one room. Zip yourselves into sleeping bags or wrap up in heavy blankets, and huddle together. Body heat is cumulative. 2 or 3 people close together can keep temperatures survivable far longer than one person alone. Now think about heat storage. Fill bottles or metal containers with hot water if you still have gas or another heat source, and use them as makeshift heaters. Wrap them in towels and place them near your core. Chest, stomach, feet. They'll radiate heat for hours. When they cool, reheat them if possible. Candles can help too. Not to heat a room, but to slightly warm a small enclosed space. A few tea lights inside a ceramic pot, a clay pot heater, can raise temperatures by several degrees. Again, use caution and ventilation. Also, keep your body fueled. Your body burns calories to create heat. Eat high-energy foods, nuts, peanut butter, energy bars, anything fatty or sugary. Staying warm from the inside out is as important as external heat sources. Hydrate too. Dehydration worsens the effects of cold. In the end, the rule is simple. Heat is survival. Have multiple ways to make it, store it, and keep it. Don't rely on a single source, because when one fails, you need another ready to go. Winter storms don't care if your furnace is new, they only care how long you can endure. Bonus point 12. Prepare for the power to stay gone, because it might. Bonus point 12. Act like the power isn't coming back. Most people treat outages like temporary annoyances. The lights will be back in a few hours. That's a deadly mindset in a major winter storm. The reality, grid failures can last days or even weeks. In 2021, millions in Texas learned this the hard way, when sub-zero temperatures crippled the power grid for almost a week. People froze to death in their own homes, not because they didn't care, but because they didn't believe it could happen to them. If you prepare with that mindset, that power might not return for days, you'll survive far better than most. Start by managing your power like gold. Every watt counts. Keep all unnecessary devices unplugged. Use flashlights, not open candles for light. LED lanterns are efficient and last much longer. Next, protect your batteries and electronics from the cold. Cold drains power fast. Keep phones, power banks, and flashlights in your pockets or sleeping bag to preserve charge. If you have solar panels or a generator, test them before the storm. Don't wait until it's fire-fin and snowing sideways to figure out how to start your generator. Fuel is another issue. If you rely on a generator, stock up on enough fuel for at least 3 days. Keep it stored safely and outdoors. Carbon monoxide kills faster than coal. Rotate fuel periodically to prevent degradation. If you don't have backup power, plan for life without it. That means manual tools instead of electric ones. A hand crank can opener, battery-powered radio, and analog clocks suddenly become vital. You'll also want a way to cook without electricity. A small camp stove or gas burner works great, but again use it only with ventilation. Food safety becomes a major concern too. If your fridge loses power, it'll stay cold for up to 24 hours if you keep it closed. After that, transfer perishables outside if temperatures are below freezing. Label what's safe to eat and what's not. Food poisoning in a winter blackout is the last thing you need. Finally, prepare mentally. The dark, the silence, the cold, they wear you down. Keep your mind occupied. Board games, books, anything that keeps morale high. Boredom and fear make people panic faster than hunger. When you prepare as if the lights won't come back, you make every smart move count. You ration heat, conserve food, preserve energy, and make decisions that keep you alive long after everyone else starts to panic. So don't wait for the storm to remind you how fragile comfort really is. The power grid is one bad ice storm away from failure, and when it goes down, it's the prepared who stay calm while everyone else scrambles. Act now, assume nothing. Be ready for the dark.